Hey guys, my name is Chance. This video is gonna be a little shorter than I had planned. I started filming the long form video, and then I figured it would be better to show off starting from a blank project once I have animations and everything built in. So that'll probably get posted on Monday. That's probably gonna be like a 20-minute video. No one wants to watch that. Whatever. Um, where I'll go through and show you straight from a blank project, importing in, my weapon system, importing in a random uh, weapon with animations off Fab, and turning that into something that you can actually use. For this instance, we're going to assume that you already have a character, or you're using the character that I made for this. And the only differences between my character and the base first person are we're only using one mesh, we're not using the mesh and a first person mesh. Um, and I have also messed with the sockets in the mannequin just a little bit. Um, I've messed with, I added a head camera socket, which is where the camera attaches to. It just gives us a base location for the camera to go back to after aiming down sight, or if we ever did anything else, like say you had a random cutscene, you're having the camera move around. Now you can send it straight back to the player's head. And I also messed with the hand grip R, um, just rotating it around. If you ever need to copy my rotations, that's them. But yeah, I had to rotate it around to actually get the weapon to sit in there properly. But that's all I've messed with on the character. Other than that, it's implementing a simple interface that tracks. So you have um, a player anim's interface that tracks your last input for X and Y aiming, as well as your left and right movement. And that's just used in the current animation blueprint. That's subject to change. Don't quote me on it. You'll see it in the written documentation whether or not we continue to use that, and if you should implement that onto your custom character, or if you just use my character, you don't really have to worry about it. But once you have that, then all you have to do is I should open that character back up. Once you have all that set up, all you have to do is go onto that character and tell it to add the components. So add BPC interaction system, add BPC weapon inventory, or you spawn the components by class. And once those are implemented onto the character, they're able to interact. So anything that's interactable can now be utilized with the interact system. Anything that's a weapon can now be equipped. So let's assume you want to make, you have this character and you want to make a whole new weapon. So that's what we're going to do together right now. So what we're going to do to make the new weapon is you would go to your weapon data assets. So we're going to make, let's say, a new type of assault rifle. Just to keep something simple. So you go weapon, ranged, and we'll go with data asset, DA weapon ranged. And within it, we'll go with assault rifle A. Um, this is where you will find the weapons at. I will not be able to share this because I don't have the rights to them. But once you've imported some weapons, make sure you have weapons and animations to go with them. That's going to be important with what I have going on because a lot of its timing relies upon the weapons animation itself. So, yeah, so we'll pull weapons animation A, or weapons mesh A. So, just whatever mesh you have, doesn't matter. And we'll call it the M4. this is how we make the M4. And I don't have anything drawn up for it, so we're just going to use this as its icon, and that'll be used on the pickup as well as in the inventory. I want it to not have anything other than the burst fire mode, so it will only use burst. And for its recoil, we're going to make custom recoil for it, because we're going to say that this thing punches hard. We'll say it punches hard really quickly, and then takes a little bit longer to actually fall off and then fully recover from. And the way that these recoil curves work is that they play over a timeline and give the timeline a value, and the timeline spits out the value at any given second. So that's taking place over less than a second, and the value that it spits out gets multiplied by the values down here. So things like aiming down sight or crouching are less than 1, so that's going to dampen the amount of recoil you're feeling. And then things like a movement modifier, or if you're in rapid fire, the subsequent shot modifier um, is going to go towards increasing that value. And the reason subsequent shot modifier is less than 1 um, is because um, it starts out at 1, and this is the amount getting added to 1. So it goes 1 to 1.5 to 2 to 2.5, and so on and so forth. Um, Give it a base damage. We'll say that we do 45 damage per shot because it's a heavy hitter. I think my favorite thing that I set up is this range system. Essentially, it works with if you were to imagine it on a graph, it's a flat line. At the very tippity top of the graph is a flat line, and that's the maximum um, damage that you're doing. And that will stay flat all the way up until, say, 1,500 meters. We'll say 1,500 meters or 1,500 centimeters is our maximum effective range where we're doing complete damage. Then at three at 3,000 meters, that's where we're doing our minimum amount of damage. So it's going to drop off linearly between 1,500 to 3,000, and it's going to go flat again at that 3,000 until it gets to 5,000. And then that how steep that linear curve is affected by the damage, or well, not the curve, but that linear diagonal line you're envisioning in your head right now is affected by your maximum damage fall off, and that's how much is being subtracted from the base damage. So the very, very, very furthest length, we're gonna do, let's just say 30 damage less. So we're still doing 15 damage. And we'll say that we shoot 800 rounds per minute, just a random number. Keep 30 rounds in the mag, 120 bullets, 3 rounds per burst. We use the base player animation. So here we're telling our player what animations to play while wielding the weapon. And then here we're going to pick out our actual weapon animations themselves. So you'll have to go onto your weapon. So we're using rifle A. We're using this one, which I've not used before. That's the wrong thing. We're using this one. Now we're going to have to add 2 things to it really quick. We're going to have to add a socket. We're going to call it site underscore socket. Hope that's right. Let's look at something else I've already made before, just to make sure I'm naming the sockets correctly. Did I open on a different tab? I did. So yeah, we're gonna name it site underscore camera socket, and that's because in the blueprint itself it finds the socket on the weapon, so that we can tell our camera that it needs to pan over to that spot. And grip underscore left hand, and we'll make that also on here. Add a socket. And this tells us where our left hand IK is going to go. So hopefully that puts us in a pretty good spot. Um, this part, the grip left hand, you'll always have to play with quite a bit. Just on a weapon by weapon basis to try to get it into a nice looking spot. There's no really going around that. But then once we have that complete, then we're going to create an animation blueprint. Call it ABP underscore assault rifle A. And the reason we make an animation blueprint is so we can use montages, which allows us to have um, variations in when we start things like reloading. Say if we're using a shotgun, we don't want to cock it, from the start to the back all the time. If we're going to reload multiple shells, we're going to leave it cocked back. So we're going to use montages for our shooting and our reloading, just to give us that extra bit of versatility. So then we'll go in, we'll do rifle W, create anim montage, rifle shoot A, and a reload. And we'll create a montage here of rifle underscore reload A or AM, rifle reload A. And the only thing you have to do on your animations is you will say, hey, at the very start of here. Now I have animation notifies and states set up already for us. So all you have to do is just put them onto the animation itself. So you'll do animation is reloading, and that's going to go all the way until. Thought there's a sound effect at the end here. All the way to right there. And then notify. And we'll do an animation notify for finished reload at the very, very end there. And with finished reload, you'll specify whether it was a magazine or a single round. This is a magazine, of course. And that completely handles our shooting and reloading. So you just add rifle shoot A and rifle reload A and rifle A. And if I say A anymore, I'm going to be in trouble. And then finally, you'll just mess with things like camera FOV. Now, going across things like, say, if you're going to go to a melee weapon, there's going to be some different things to fill in. But this is as simple as it gets, really. It's just go through and fill in the numbers, um, fill in the montages, fill in the pictures, and it'll work. So now, that's a weapon right there. So all you have to do from there is go to the blueprint, weapon blueprint, ranged, create a child of the ranged actor, BP underscore assault rifle A, and we'll just change the data to use whatever the heck we just named it. Oh yeah, we named it the M4. Where's that? Oh, we just named it weapon ranged. I am a big silly. I thought I named it M4. Guess I named it weapon ranged. Okay, so now set to weapon ranged. And I'm trying to remember if there's anything else I had to do with it. Oh yeah, very last thing. I have these pickups already in the world, so we'll just replace it. So now the shotgun is going to be using the assault rifle A. And we'll go and we'll pick it up. And the only reason it's why it's not constantly bursting is because I'm just too quick with tapping on it. And it'll do its reload. And that's a new weapon. So of course we had the AK from before. Sounds aren't working on it for whatever reason. I gotta mess with that again. Um, that was messing with some stuff with animation montages and things like that earlier, so I'll come back to it. Like I forgot to save something. Um, but yeah, that's an M4 working. That's how you make a weapon in this system. They all really work out about the same. It's all right here. It's all tool tipped really well, so everything is very straightforward. You're never having to guess, what am I supposed to put into this spot here? What needs to be filled in here? It's going to explain to you, hey, this is what it's used for, um, and all that. And yeah, so yeah, I will make a longer form video later on that shows what it's like to start from scratch, from complete scratch. But this is just how you'd make a gun fresh. Hope you guys are having a good day. Bye bye.